Hello. There we go. My laptop screen was in dark. Okay. Again, we have this really funny line thing going on here. I do not know why it does this. Okay. Today, I am working on this piece. Autumn Watergarden Mandala. My very first Chatelaine. And I really wanted to start this, but I did kind of promise I would show how I was going to go about this. My words really aren't going to be here very well today, so we'll see how well the chatty bit goes. So I'll tell you the prep work I've done so far. I've got my fabric. Yay! Oh dear. And this is my pattern, but I made a working copy I didn't make a working copy of like the diagrams, the specialty stitch diagrams, but I did make working copies of the legend, and obviously I can't show you the rest of it because it's the actual pattern. And I won't even use these today, but I've got Gloriana's and the beads. There are other like specialty flosses in here. Oops, let me not show that part. Okay. Oh man, I pulled out. I'm not doing so well already. Okay, so this chart uses DMC, Gloriana, and I have all the Glorianas now, and Thread Gatherer Silk and Colors, Thread Gatherer Silk Pearl, Dinky Dye Silks, and Rainbow Gallery Petite Treasure Braids. Now I don't have any of these specialty ones yet. They're on order, but I don't have them yet. The Glorianas I've been collecting slowly, and DMC I have at my feet right now. So, in order to start this, that's all the preparation work I've done, is make working copies and have my materials that I can start with. And I really wish I knew, I wonder if that's a hardware problem. If anybody knows why it's distorting, I wonder if it's a hardware problem, and I'm super sorry about that. Okay, so the only other thing I've done is make the working copies and have my materials. And now I'm actually going to pull out the color that I'm first going to use on my chart, which is going to be, I'm going to do this one, this plus, which you'll see is in 2 different locations, but this is for cross stitch over 1, and this is for over 2. And so that's how you can tell, because on the chart when it's over 1, you see like little tiny boxes instead of your normal box. So the chart does make it pretty clear to know which one it is. Anyway, this is DMC 341. And what color is that? That is this color right here. I've never done a chatelaine before, and I know it can feel intimidating to a lot of people, including myself. So hopefully this will take out a little bit of that. intimidation. This fabric is this right here. It's 28 count antique white casual linen, and I have not yet cut down the fabric to size, but I'll show you my intention on what to do here. But first, I need my needle threaded. I'm starting in the center. I'm starting in the center of the chart, but it's not going to be the center of the fabric. And I'm going to be a little bit lazy in how I do this. Okay, so here it is. It's all big. My lap is only so big, so I'm running out of room and where I can put things. Okay, so I've done measurements on the chart design. I know how many inches in, and I leave a generous border. I like to leave 3 inches because then if the fabric happens to be off kilter, it won't be too bad. Now this one, I did look and it's pretty like square. Yeah, it's not cut crooked when I follow the line of stitching all the way down. Anyway, so I'm going to go, this is a 12-inch ruler and I need 12.5 inches. So I'm going to go to here and then I'm going to go to here. And mark in about 12.5 inches both ways from this one corner. And then I can check that there's about straight. My fabric is big enough that if it's a little more than 12.5 inches, I'm okay. I'm doing a lazy man start. Is that hopefully that this is okay. And then I'm going to make an X. This is over 2. So 2 strands over 2. So I'm using a loop start. And once I've done that's just my first leg. Now I'm going to kind of prep my fabric the rest of the way. So I like to stitch in hand and I like to roll it up. And totally feel free to say hi. So I'm not talking just randomly to myself. This fabric is big. It's a half yard because that's what I needed in order to have like a 3-inch border with this size chart. So anyway, I just roll it up and I think I'm going to use one of these little thingies because it works as a convenient little needle minder. All right. And now I can keep my pattern out of the frame and get started. There are so many, there's a lot of symbols on this chart. It's a little confusing as to, it's not confusing. It is just a lot to take in. So I'm going to try to just like make a decision on how I'm going to work through this and then start working. The very center of this fabric is, I probably should have started this just slightly lower than where I did. Because the very center of this is actually like a crystal. So let me come down and over. Here we go. I will start right here. This may not be the most clear explanation of how to start a chatelaine. I'm just showing like how I'm approaching it, having never done one. So figuring out some of these different things. All right. I don't even know if I should make each X individually or not. But hey, I've got it started. I now have 2 little X's. Ta-da! And then I'll just keep going. I made working copies because I definitely expect my papers to get beat up, but also so I can mark off as I go, because my brain needs all the help it can get. And yeah. Okay, it looks like there's this like a leaf or something that I'm stitching. 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to do all the like regular stitching, at least in a section. I think maybe I could probably do it section by section, but I'll definitely leave the beading for like the very, very end. So I'll do the regular stitching and then the specialty stitches and the back stitch, which the instructions do. Where did I put that? Like in this page of instructions, it says first work all cross stitches, and then the specialty stitches and the back stitching are explained from the inside out, and it tells you all the things like what colors and what stitch, and then it shows the illustration of the stitch. So that's really helpful, or will be helpful when I reach that point. 1, 2, 3. One thing that I did is I made this orange stripe my top. So I might still mark it in some way special, but it's the only orange edge I have on this fabric. So hopefully I will remember that that is the way this is oriented. I could probably write it down on my key, which way the top is. I don't want to forget because this is a pattern that you could very easily not know what way it is. So I would say that when you want to do a chatelaine, make sure to spend a few moments like reading the instructions, looking at the chart, just get a feel for it before you try to start stitching. That was all something I did the day that I made my working copies, is I spent time like seeing how the chart flowed. There are 12 pages, pattern pages. So seeing how it was laid out, identifying what the middle sections looked like, seeing what it looked like when it's showing that it's a specialty stitch or back stitching or beads, anything like that. That helped. It helped calm me down about it, because when I first pulled it out, I was like, oh, I feel overwhelmed. But as I was looking at it, I just became more comfortable with what I was seeing and how it was organized. One thing that I really like about this chart is that you've got your normal kind of symbols for your like cross stitching, and you can see that you've got it tells you all the different kinds. This is Dinky Dyes, Gloriana's, Rainbow Gallery, SNC. I can't think of what that is right now. Okay, SNC, it's something. Anyway, and DMC. Thread Gatherer, it's Thread Gatherer, Silk, something. It's not the Silk Pro, because that's what TGSP stands for. Anyway, it tells you all the things. And then the back stitch, it's got like all just these lines, but you know which lines are what on the other instructions that it tells you. So that allows the chart itself to stay really like basic and not look too crazy trying to have different colors of backstitch going on, because that's a lot of different colors of backstitch. There are French knots, and then the beads are the numbers, and the what they're calling them, sparklies, are letters. So I like that there's a difference. It's easy to tell, oh, bead, that's a bead and that's a crystal. It's easy to tell that once I noticed that that's a difference. Okay. And I totally just did that over 3 instead of over 2. I've never looked at another chatelaine pattern ever, so I don't know if there are differences in the patterns in how they're set up. I guess I can say that this is how this particular one is set up. And if any of you have worked on chatelaines, you could maybe tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't really have a plan for how to work through this and where to stitch. Because it's the center square that I'm working on. Like probably, I don't know how far out I'm going to go if I'm just going to do this really inner circle or square and then do like this more outer one and then come out again. I don't know how to work through this. I just don't. There's too much. There's so much to going on, it feels like, that I'm just focused on like right here instead of all of that section. I might not be very chatty about outside things unless somebody brings up a topic, simply because I feel like I'm just focused on what's going on here. Oh, you know what I should have done? Okay, I just noticed some 1/1 bits up here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. And remember to look out for these 1/1s. I didn't notice it at first because there's like a whole section right here of 1/1. So I didn't notice that some of it was the same symbol that I'm working on right now. And somehow my tail, when I got started, is off kilter. Oh, you know what? I'm ridiculous. It's 1/1, not 2/1. I didn't have to take all of that out. Now I'm going to restitch it back in. 1/1 means I need to come back with only one strand. I told you my brain wasn't really here all the way. At least I remembered that that's what 1/1 is before I started trying to stitch. 2/1. I could definitely do this like with the sewing method and keep my hand on top like that. Sometimes it'll make sense to do that, I think. All right, 4 over. And then there's some more 1/1 in like this area. You'll have to tell me if any of you have tried a chatelaine yet, or if you ever want to start a chatelaine, give it a try. Some of them are less complicated. I know there's a lot of like the mandala kind of ones or the tile kind of shapes, but that's not all chatelaines are like that. So if something that's like this, where it's got like your center tile, but then you stitch like very similar things the whole way around, if that is not appealing to you, you might like one of their other scenes better. They are there. I think I did that wrong. Oh boy. Perhaps today is not a good day to start a chatelaine. I just really wanted to. I am feeling really overwhelmed and stressed in my life right now. Oh, I know what I was doing when I put my stitch in right here. So I was going to make my X backwards. Like upside down. That's what I was trying to do. My brain seriously is... It's pretty shut down. It's not very functional. But when I was looking at my board that has all the pictures of my charts, like my mania board, I saw the Chatelaine, and that's the one that was calling to me the strongest. Oh look, that thread like fit perfectly. It did perfectly there. So I'm gonna run my thread a couple of times. Yay. Okay. 27 minutes in, and that's where I'm at so far. Whew. Okay. So, in order to keep track of stitches, I have this, which I need to reset. It's just like a manual clicker thing, and I just like doing it. So I use a highlighter and I mark off my copy and I count my stitches, and then I keep tally of it here. So I will make sure I know which ones I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Whoa, that's like a stitch a minute, guys. Now that we're 30 minutes in. Yes, I know we were setting up the fabric through part of that. 30. Yeah. That's just how I keep track. And now I can move on to, I don't know, should I just fill this in? Let's kind of fill it in. Okay, it's a down arrow. This one. Oh, I'm not prepared to get out a Gloriana right now. Filling this in takes 2 different Glorianas. Of course it does. Well, you know the other thing I'm going to do about this chart, since these feel so far away, where did I put the ruler? Or not. Maybe I won't do this because I can't find the ruler. Oh, here it is. I am just real with you guys. This is life. And a pen. Oi! Here we go. Come back here. I just want to make sure that I'm looking at the right thing. It would be awful to like trace across this looking at the wrong. And then get like the color wrong. There we go. That'll help. I guess I could do it for the rest, but I'm not going to right now. To Gloriana now or not Gloriana now? That is the question. Why not? Okay, so which one did I say it used? Deep Blue Sea. I'm gonna guess it's this one. Deep Blue Sea. We'll do Gloriana because it's new. And we like doing new things. Sometimes. We're not afraid of doing new things, I guess. Sometimes. Okay. Silk is so nice to stitch with. I love it. I can't get this one. Where's the... Here it is. This is the one I need to pull. Oi, what is happening? Oh, there it goes. Okay, I can now take it off. The thingy. And make sure that this is completely untangled here. I don't know how long I should cut this. If I cut this just on one side, that might be too long for silks. Silks spray more easily than cotton, like DMC. And my drawn thread sampler kit, their lengths, they came pre-cut. Those are pretty short. So I guess I can cut this on each end. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do this side first with the cut openings, or cut the already cut thread side. Oh my gosh, guys, I just dropped my scissors. And it's like down here. Okay, it's a good thing I have another pair. Hopefully I won't drop these ones. These ones are nice because they're like those travel scissors where you can fold them up like this, and then your ends won't poke anywhere. You won't accidentally cut stuff. Okay, so that's pretty short. Now I'll pick one of these strands out. So this is, I guess, depending on which strand you pull, depends on whether you're going to end up getting like more of the green or more of this like blue. Okay, the lighting's not fantastic right directly where the camera is, so that's not helpful, but I'm gonna string this back down here. Maybe what's going on? You guys are watching chaos right now. That's all I can say. All right. It's so pretty. I wish it was showing up better. You can start to see the color a little bit over there. A little bit. Okay, so this is still going to be 2/1. So it's a variegated thread, which just means you need to be careful. I don't know how many strands this is. I kind of assume it's 6 strands. It just means that you got to be careful when you're pulling threads. See, I feel like I'm pulling like half of a strand. Nope, nope, I'm right. Okay. So this came off that way, and that's important to remember so that we match up our colors in the same way. I don't know how many strands of Gloriana is, but they looks like a many strands. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I suppose that makes sense for why their price is more than other silks, is because they have lots and lots of strands. All right, so these colors should be lined up in the same exact way. Yep. All right. It's a complicated chart. I really do think that once I figure some things out, it won't feel so complicated. But like I've never worked with Gloriana before, so there's that. I figure it's just one X at a time. That's the way I'm approaching this anyway. I'm going to start this with a pin stitch since I can't do a loop start with variegated. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. I really want to see the variegation. instead of kind of blended together. I've been wanting to start Chatelaine for so long, so I'm really excited to be doing this. Look how deep this color is next to this blue. Oh, my little tails popped out the front. Gonna cut these down a little bit. And there are DMC conversions listed for like any of this fancy floss. So it's not like you have to use the fancy floss. Even beads often have a conversion chart. I know Mill Hill, their website, they have a color conversion to DMC colors for their beads. So it's not like you have to use any of the fancy stuff for anything really. I just happen to like just a little bit of fancy in my life. So there's some areas in which I'm willing to figure out the fancy. See, now that I know a little bit more about Glorianas, like, I mean, they're thicker than DMC because it's 12 strands and DMC is only 6 strands. So now that I know that, it'll be a lot easier to work with it. I've learned something new. But silk just glides through. It is beautiful. You know, I probably shouldn't have started where I started. That's okay. I should have looked at the chart a little bit better and started here and then gone up and then come down, because there's none in the tip of this. But that's okay. We'll just keep going. We all need fancy. I agree. I think we all need some fancy. It's just that our comfort level of fancy may vary. I just watched whose floss tube video was I watching? Oh, Needleberry Stitcher. Needleberry Stitcher. In her latest video that just went up like a couple days ago, she talked about considering stitching this one chart. She does a lot of like mirabilias. And she talked about wanting to stitch one of those charts as written, like with beads and everything, and then stitch it again with just DMC, just to kind of show the difference, how you can still have a fancy lady without like doing all the parts that you don't really want to do, that some people don't want to do anyway. And I do know that there are some charts out there, like the fancy ladies, that don't use any of the like they only have DMC. And that we can try. We can decide what our level of fancy is. Maybe it's just the pattern and we don't need all the shine of the silk or the sparkly of the, Krennic or Petite Treasure braid. Okay, I gotta count stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. Oh dear, my average is still not very high because now I have 45 stitches in 45 minutes. It's a good thing I don't care that much. Okay, the next one uses, I guess I was also taking apart this hank. Okay, sage is the next color. That's these two together, they look like, oh look, you can kind of see the variegation in the deep sea blue. I think starting something always takes up the most energy out of a cross stitch piece, especially if it's got new or different things in it. Maybe I shouldn't make a blanket statement like that because maybe you're doing like a fancy lady and it's and you decide to do 1/1 stitching. That might take up a whole lot of energy. You might love it, you might hate it. You might like the effect, like the ending, without liking stitching it. All right. That one was easier to undo. Maybe it's just because I knew what I was doing better. Definitely feel like I know better what I'm doing. And maybe I won't drop the scissors this time, because that's all the scissors I have, and I'd have to retrieve one of them if I dropped it. Okay. Let's pick out one to work with. It's so pretty. Yep, working with the second skein of Gloriana is definitely quicker than the first skein. I have several Chatelaines that I want to do, so I'm quite happy to be doing any, just to get started. I don't think I'll have more than one going on at a time though, because they are so big, and I do want to be mindful of what is good for me. Okay, so this is going to be easy because this color is just going to be like the whole, like filling in the rest of what's in here. And then I think it looks like there's a line of backstitch that runs like from up here to down here. So that's why I think this is a leaf, and that is like the middle vein of the leaf that runs through. So Sunday is May. That means mania. Are any of you doing any mania thingies? Or like stitching as normal? No craziness here? I am fairly certain I will not be doing a mania like this again. But I'm so happy that I'm doing it once. I mean, who knows? Maybe next year it'll be like that I'm stitching only on one designer. You're not sure if you'll do mania? It's not for everyone. I love that. There's something for everyone. I love all the different ideas people come up with. I think that's one reason why I like mania so much, is that you've got like, start things or finish things or work on only one thing or work on all the things. Ooh, you probably can't see it on the camera, but I can see some of the variegation on this sage color coming in. I think that's one thing I like about, I've never done Whipco, but I like how people have adapted it to work for them. Like there's people who, they love their full coverage. They know they're going to work on their full coverage, so their Whipco board only puts their like non-full coverage on there. And that way that they know that they will also work on those pieces so they don't get left behind. There's somebody else, or more than one other person I've seen who has done, instead of setting goals, like they didn't attach any kind of a goal to each project. They just put a project in the square and said, as long as I work on this at all when it's called, then I'm going to count that as good. So it could just be one strand, or it could end up being like, 2 weeks. Oh, I love it. A Hade Whip Go. That is so fun. Wait, but then how many Hades do you have? I guess you could just have multiple heights, like each height have different spots. Or do you have like tons and tons of heights on the go? Maybe both. Maybe it's both of those things. Whoa, you got 15. Okay, props to you. 15. I think this chart right here, this Chatelaine is like my 17th whip, I think. So obviously I don't have 15 heights going on. Not super size. Well, I only have one super size. I'm trying to really be careful about not having multiple super sizes. Okay. I don't think I lost the scissors, but I don't know where they went. Oh, here they are. I just feel like certain patterns, to me, demand super size. And I am totally willing. Okay. You know what? I might give... Oh, wait, no, I have to count stitches. Don't get ahead of yourself, Suki. Count your stitches. Oh, yeah. So it looks like what there is back stitch that runs down here, but then also like little veins that come out from the middle as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Is my average sped up now? 22. Oh my gosh, what's 40 plus 20, 60, 67. Yay, I've done 67 stitches in 57 minutes now. Okay, so here's where it's going to get hard. 1/1. I feel like I should try 1/1 for insanity reasons. Let's see here. I'm trying. Oh, sorry. I'm showing the pattern. I'm not even paying attention. My bad. Okay, I'm going to do 37, 40, 7, 37, 47. Oh, it's a very light color. I use this color quite a bit in Mayari. It's a very light blue-violet color. One over one, so I think sometimes I over talk just to remind myself what I'm doing. Okay. Oh dear. I'm doing this for you guys. I have not ever gone from 2/2 to 1/1. So where am I starting this? I'm starting this here. How are you supposed to anchor? I guess I can run it under. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run it under. And then get started. Carefully so I don't like pull out that tail. So this is a lighter blue than the one that is used. The one that I started with was it says light blue violet, and this one that I'm working with is very light blue. These X's are so tiny. It's funny, but 28 count is what a lot of my Hades are on. Oh dear. Okay, so when I'm looking at the chart, you can see that there's this circle with a dot inside, this circle with a line inside, and this circle with nothing inside. Over 1, it's tiny on the chart, but I think that there's both of those colors. Both well, I say both, but 2 of those 3. And this isn't very helpful. This isn't very helpful because it's like a section you can't really see. So yay, okay. Okay, I think that one's a line. So I'm going to have to look out that to see if I can tell the difference between the circles with the dots and the circles with the lines. Because those are 2 very different colors. This one's blue-violet. The other one is rusty amber. But is apparently part of this as well. So what I was saying was 28 count. This is a normal fabric for me working 2/1 tent stitch. But it feels so very different to switch back and forth from 1/1 to 2/2. And it makes these little X's seem even tinier. Okay, I would totally do a Chatelaine chart as digital, but like when I was purchasing, I couldn't figure out how to do that. So I don't know if I just am completely clueless in how to purchase a digital Chatelaine chart, but I would totally go for that. I might not repurchase this one in order to do that, but any future Chatelaines, I would absolutely buy digital. So I wonder if only some of them are digital. I guess I can also see it being very difficult to do. Well, that's not true. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at that more because I did look to see if they had digital copies, and I could have just completely missed it. It's very likely what was the matter. Okay. Oh, I think that's it because I think the rest of this 1/1 circle-y part is the other circle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I already lost track of what I counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like in this little 1/1 section right here, there's 8 different colors. I would call that confetti. Wouldn't you? Oh, scissors. So I can count every individual 1/1 stitch as a full stitch, right? Where's my marking? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 8 tiny little 1/1. That's crazy. I betcha I could do the same. There's another 1/1 section up here, and it looks like it kind of mirrors. So let's figure this out. Okay. Right here. Yes, right there. At least you can see that there's 1/1 stitching there, even if you can't like. You can see the color is there. And my thread just tangled up. I'm like super focused on this. I'm sorry, I'm so quiet. I think after I finish this bit of 1/1, I will finish the live. I feel really good about what I've been able to cover. Like just getting this started, it feels like this huge accomplishment, and I was needing to feel that. I've been feeling really stressed, really overwhelmed, and even though I've been working on like wins, like doing the dishes, this feels like an accomplishment too. Thanks for chatting with me. Have a good day. Amy Louise, you made a live. Hello. I was just saying that I might not stay on very long, but I might if you're here, and I'll pick something else here to work my way through. There's 1/1 The 1/1 is so tiny when you also have 2/1 or 2/2. Words. Yay! I have absolutely no idea what this is. Like this 1/1 section is supposed to be. Okay, let's see. Oh, mark it off. Mark it off. Mark it off. I think it's 8, just like before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 83 stitches. Okay. Like I don't really know what to do. Oh, you know, there's kind of like a border that I'm seeing. Let me work on that. Sage. We're going back to Gloriana, which is so fun to stitch with. I love the silks that I've been stitching with. I have now tried Gloriana, Silks for You, Dinky Dyes, and needlepoint silks. And I love them all. It is both that they're beautiful colors, but also they just stitch up so wonderfully. All right, so 1, 2, 3 down. 1, 2, 3 down and 1 over. All right. So this right here is the very center of the piece. It's a crystal that goes in the very center. So, but then what I'm stitching right now is like the first little square border, I guess. It's what it looks like from the chart. So you've got like a big crystal here, another crystal here, some specialty stitches like in through here. This is all 1/1. Oh, I might be forced to stop the live stream. I didn't plug my computer in. Battery saver is on. Consider plugging in your device. I'm at 29%. So in an hour and 15 minutes, I went from 100% to 29. I'm good for a little bit longer, right? Oh, and then there's beads also throughout. Like it looks like there'll be some beads interspersed like right there. Oh, it's gonna be so pretty. You know, in like 3 years when I finish it, we'll see. I don't remember how far over I'm supposed to go. 2 more. One. 2. And I love stitching on linen. I know some people don't like stitching on linen. They don't like the slubs that are part of linen. I love it. Yeah. I really like stitching on linen. It might be my favorite. If I had to pick on one fabric to stitch on only, it'd be linen, I think. It's just that linen costs a lot. And I wouldn't want to do a full coverage on it, but I do like stitching on it a whole lot. And I need to grab my other pattern page, whatever it's called. Okay. So this first inner square isn't that huge. It looks like. Because I think it is. See how there's like a skinny dark line that goes around? I think that's kind of what I'm stitching. Maybe. See, like, I look at this picture, I'm like, but some of these colors don't look the same as what I'm stitching. I'm going to try not to think of it too much and just keep stitching. Because as I get further along, either I will see that I definitely messed up somewhere, or I will see that it is starting to make sense to me. But if this is one corner, and this is like halfway through that tiny inner square, I would show you what I am seeing on the pattern if I could, but I can't. Because it's copyrighted. And rightly so. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One, two, three, 4, 5. Oh, I can do some of these like that. I don't know if that's going to be any faster right now. There's so many things that feel new to me in this chart, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It takes a lot more brain power than some of my other stitch with me's. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what it says. 8. Oh, and 8 is what I wanted. Oh, good job. Then, if I come up here, I can get a few more stitches in before I run out of thread. And, computer battery. So I tried a little bit of everything here. I'm pretty happy with what I've done. Definitely a good start. Okay. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I think I just need to go to 8. So let me squeeze one more stitch out of this yarn thread, silk thread. And then I pulled it out of the needle. Good job. This is when I miss having a needle threader. Okay. There they are. Scissors. All right. Now to mark my stitches off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30. Which makes it 113 stitches in 1 hour and 22 minutes. Not just 113 stitches, but I also showed how I got to the middle of my fabric and I set up 2 different skeins of Gloriana. And yeah, so this is a corner and this is a corner. And this is stitched in all 4 corners. That's what the pattern looks like anyway. Ooh, you can see some of this variegation in the sage coming out. So, oh, here we go. If I angle it this way, you can see it better. So thanks for hanging out, y'all. I am very happy. 20%. 20% battery. We're doing good. So hopefully you guys got some really nice stitching in or whatever you were working on while I was stitching. And for some of you who are interested in trying out a chatelaine, you'll maybe have some confidence to go ahead and tackle one and to give it a try. I'd love to know if you do or if you already have a chatelaine. And if so, maybe you have some tips for me. The biggest ones I can see are make sure you know which way your fabric is up. For me, it's my orange stripe. And then just remember that everything is one stitch at a time, just like any other pattern. So I'll chat with you guys later. Bye.